brought to you by Salt on the Waterfront.
Kia ora everyone, welcome to the Taranaki Foodies on the Most FM, proudly sponsored by Salt on the Waterfront by Millennium Hotels. I am Hanifa, the operations manager at the Millennium Hotel. Along with me in the studio is Olina Williams, who is our great selfie queen, and our special guest today is none other than Mieke Verschoor from Sustainable Taranaki. So before we go ahead with, what songs are on the playlist, so let's talk something about Sustainable Taranaki. So Mieke, thinkers as an amateur, and could you please tell us what is Sustainable Taranaki?
Okay, kia ora koutou. Thank you for having me today. So Sustainable Taranaki is a not-for-profit organization that has been in Taranaki active for about 35 years, I think, this year. Initially started really focusing on the environment, so planting out wetlands and riparian planting. And then it slowly moved into more education in schools, working lots with kids, behavior change, and we are still moving, we're constantly evolving. But anything we do, all the projects have got to do with connecting community, looking after the environment, looking after our beautiful Taranaki and leaving it hopefully better for the next generation.
That's a great thing. What we are thinking is nobody thinks about what's happened in the future, but also I'm very proud to say that Millennium also is a small little part of the green loop. I see it's like the circle of life. Could you please explain a little bit about the green loop where, from the food waste, how it goes into the soil?
Yes, I can. So one of the big problems with food waste is that it is post-consumption, so it has oils in it because it's been fried or deep fried. It's got coloring ingredients, salts. And also, if you would put this in a compost, you get rats and mice and all the unpleasant, and it also doesn't end up as a really nice kind of compost. So at Sustainable Taranaki, together with my co-founder Sophie, we came up with a system where we collect this food waste, which is really hard to compost. And the way we collect it is we start already on site. We start with fermenting it. So it's like you would know, you have your bin and you're putting in your food waste, and we provide you with a special inoculant that has a whole set of different types of microbes that will start fermenting this food waste. So instead of it starting to rot and smell in the bin, it's actually a closed bin that just ferments. So if you open it, it smells like a pickle. And as it sits there on site, it pickles, it doesn't smell, and it is already breaking down. So by the time it goes to the farm, which is a farm only 17 kilometers away from here and not 300 up north, where all the other organic waste goes to. So on the farm, we set it down for another 3 weeks, and then it's completely pickled and also broken down to a point that now it is safe to use in a compost. We're putting it into a compost, making it aerobic, adding some carbon, and then after an X amount of time, that depends on temperature, the weather, rainfall, we end up with this beautiful microbial-rich compost that we put back on our soils. And then we're growing really beautiful, nutrient-dense, healthy foods that come back to the plate at Millennium and at Salt. And then it goes back into that loop, so it's a nutritional loop, and it just keeps going and giving, year after year, really.
That's so awesome, and 17 kilometers only north from Taranaki. I think it's perfect time to listen to the first song that you have chosen for us, Northern Attitude by Noah Kahan.
This artist today, beautiful voice.
He's my favorite artist. Yeah, I like indie folk or.
It's very, very the most of indie folk and everything that is kind of a non-mainstream. So yes, you're totally at home.
Yes, yeah. I just like, especially there's the new Americana, I think they call it, just the storytelling in it as well.
I also like when you were talking about the compost, how it was storytelling, like you talk about it in a kind of a yummy way, like how you pickle compost.
Yeah.
It actually doesn't smell bad. I had to do a test.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's like pickle,
It is.
all the ladies, they love pickles.
It's just fermenting. It's like, when you make a sourdough, if you smell a sourdough starter, that doesn't smell really delicious. It just has that
like a little bit acidic, a little bit kind of.
And you've got that yeasty kind of, and it's the same with Green Loop. Yeah. But it's a great way to it just starts breaking down all those nasty elements.
Yes.
And also you can take raw like meats and chicken and cheeses.
What
which
happens
you can't.
if you pour cooked oil into the soil? Nothing would happen, right? And just like it
Well,
processes somehow.
so what happens is that all your microbes and your beetles and your worms and all of the beneficials, they get a coating of oil over them and it suffocates them.
Oh.
So you are killing your soil food web.
Oh
And a lot of people underestimate microbes. Without them, we wouldn't be alive.
Yes.
Right.
There's the biodiversity in the ground is like thousands of times bigger than above ground. And these guys, they break it down and they put the nutrients back into small chunks so it can go back in the plant. So if we put oil on the soil and we just kill them off by suffocating them, the plants are not going to get any more nutrients and we are not going to get the food on our plate. So it is really important that we know when we put something in the soil that we know actually what is the effect that it's going to have. Yeah.
Yeah, we will. After the break, we'll spend some more time talking about the operations and other things that is part of it. And yes, and then we will talk about the food that you brought.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, composting is one of my things.
Yes.
Also because I'm a keen gardener myself, so if you're a gardener, you know how expensive compost has become.
Yeah.
It comes in a single-use plastic bag.
Which you don't have.
And what is in it? You don't know what's gone in it. You're just
No.
buying it hoping that it's good. But if you make it yourself at home, I know exactly what is in my compost because I put it in there myself. So, yeah.
That's right. Yes. So you will do welcome back and other things, and then I'll ask my question.
Okay.
Love to work with Hanifa. She's just switched on. Picks up
The
every
second
idea.
time or something, but yeah, I get nervous.
It's okay, you don't show it up. That's where in a friendly studio, see those red walls make you feeling
Yeah. But now I feel like
Yeah,
I'm okay.
Makes my cheeks really red as well. I did have a really hot shower as well before I came here. Probably shouldn't have done that. I matched the walls.
Secret information, whatever stays on radio.
Stays.
I had an injectables yesterday, and oh my gosh, I expected lots of swelling and bruises, but it's actually not too bad. Just like a little bit, but it's okay. Yeah, I had a little bit of a powder and stuff, so I was preparing. It's okay. I mean, we're not getting younger.
I think it could be the aircon
Oh,
too.
no,
Too
no
bad.
one is getting any younger.
Is the aircon actually warming it up? Kiri,
It's okay.
my darling, can you please check the air conditioning so it's not on a heat or on a cold? Because we're all kind of suffering right now.
Yeah.
It's quite warm, yeah.
And it's just like opposite you.
I mean,
that's why
I'm still in black, so.
Yeah, still on the streams.
Wow, that was such a beautiful song. Thank you for that selection, Mieke.
Most welcome.
Well, while people were listening to the music on air, we had this little discussion about composting, and a lot of people started to do composting when they moved to New Zealand, like myself. So I did it in many ways. I had a plastic kind of like a container where I tried to put the worms and things like that. And then it didn't really work because it didn't have enough air. So we made like holes at the bottom,
Yeah.
but still didn't work. But then we built this structure where it's like a kind of like a cage where we put it under our lemon tree. There is a cage where all the compost goes, and it did attract a lot of rodents. It also attracted lots of cats who were hunting rodents. So we became hunting ground.
Yeah, I mean, composting is really cool because this is a foodie show, but composting is just like baking a cake. You've got 4 main ingredients in compost, and if the ratios are off or you're missing one, you get something that you really don't want to eat. It's the same with compost. So like you said, not enough air. Air is one of the 4 main ingredients that a lot of people forget about. They stick it in a container, or they stamp it down, so they can fit more in the bay, or they put big tarps over it. And then you're producing the oxygen, and then the end product is not really great because you missed one of your main ingredients, and you get a dense cake that no one wants to eat.
So what it was when I was having it in like a plastic big bin, it was like a very smelly dirt.
Yes.
And it wasn't even a dirt and such, because all the things that I put in, they didn't dissolve. You could still see pieces of
It would
corn.
just have been anaerobic. Just
Yeah.
different types of microbes sitting in anaerobic situations, and they produce your methane gases, and it smells like ammonia kind of smells, and they also are not beneficial for getting a really good compost.
So when people do compost at home, they just need to be as simple as possible.
Yep.
Just put a waste with some maybe newspaper in between. Don't
So
cover
food
it.
waste is tricky. So like we just talked about it a little bit as well. So if you're putting in raw meats and cheeses and breads and pasta, first of all they have bacteria that can be harmful, so you can be creating pathogens, but also they will attract mice and rats and the wrong type of flies and all the cats in the neighborhood. And then what it turns into is not actually beneficial for the garden. It will break down because it's organic and Mother Nature wants to break down anything organic, but it could be that it's full of pathogens that you cannot see. So you're working with it with your hands, you're putting it on your garden, around your veggies, but maybe you're making yourself sick instead of getting healthy veggies. So it is important that you know there's a few things that you really shouldn't put in your compost. Composting is really forgiving. Mother Nature helps, everything will break down, but there's just a few basic rules that you have to keep in mind, and then anyone can compost, because it's not hard as long as you stick to those few rules.
So tell us quickly those rules.
So first of all, the 4 ingredients. So you need nitrogen, the greens, carbon, the browns, water, because anything alive needs water, and oxygen, because the microbes we want to work with are the ones that need oxygen. They work better. So we need to make sure everything is nice and fluffy and aerated and not compacted. And then some things that you cannot put in your compost: raw meats, cheeses, breads, pastas, not because they won't break down, but because you get the wrong bacteria, you get all the cats, you get the mice, the rats, the flies. You know, those flies that look really slow, but you can never catch them, so you're just breeding the wrong type of flies that end up in your house. Yes. So those kind of post-consumption, so prepared or processed foods, should not go straight into your compost, unless you do a hot composting on site, which is different than what most people do at home.
So you said at the very beginning that you put some inoculant into
Yes.
compost to make it healthy.
In the
Is
green
the-
loop, yes.
Yes. So is it a secret component? Or what's in it?
With regards to green loop,
Yes.
it's not a secret at all. So it's effective microorganisms. It's a group of about 6 to 7 different type of bacteria, and they are specialized in working without oxygen and fermenting. So what they do is they are so like your lactobacillus that turn your milk into yogurt. So nothing dangerous. You can work with it. It's safe to use in the kitchen. You can collect your materials in the kitchen. It's not a problem at all. But what these guys do, they produce an acid that starts pickling, fermenting the material, and that acid makes the whole bin really acidic, so the pH goes really low. And pathogens, they don't like living in a low pH. So already we're starting to attack the pathogens. And the acid also can break down the structure, the chemical structure of the foods. So already in that bin for 3 to 4 weeks, we're killing off pathogens. We are starting to break down the food, and then we're going to turn it into a compost. So they're just lactobacillus, those kind of bacteria. Nothing secret about it.
So for a person who already has their compost bin and maybe not with the healthiest leftovers from I don't know, takeaways and things like that, and they want to keep it right, where they can, how they can increase the quality? Is there any way to increase
So
the
it's
good
called bokashi.
bokashi?
So bokashi is the Japanese word for fermenting of organic material. You can buy setups at different shops around town. It is just bins that are 2 bins, same size. They fit really snug in one another, so the oxygen cannot get in. And you get a special bag with inoculated sawdust. And every time you put some food in, you just sprinkle this inoculated sawdust. So you're adding those bacteria, you're adding the workers into the bin. You close the bin and you let it sit. And then once the bin is full, you just put it away a couple of weeks while you start a new bin. And after about 3 weeks, it's now safe to put into your compost. I know some people, they just dig a trench in the garden, or they put it in the lasagna layering in the veggie beds. All of that works. Just have to keep in mind, it is very potent because it's low pH, it's quite acidic and high in nitrogen. So it's better to not use it straight in your plants, but through a compost, fantastic. But very easy to do at home, very simple, very safe, and a fantastic way of dealing with those things that you shouldn't put straight into your compost.
Yeah, and I remember when I just started composting, a lot of people gave me advice. One advice was to use certain type of worms, so some people were selling them, like tiger worms. And another person gave me an advice to collect, I don't know, buckets of chicken poo
Mhm.
and sprinkle it through the compost,
Yeah.
and not sprinkle straight into the garden because it can burn everything.
Yeah.
So is that
Yeah.
also part of how good compost can become
So
better?
yes, because good compost, the more diverse the material that go in it, the more diverse the nutrients at the end. So the more different kind of things you put in there, they all have their own nutrients and minerals and micronutrients. So you get a way more complex kind of compost at the end. Now with regards to the worms, yes, you can buy worms. They're often the tiger worms that you can buy. You can even buy them off the shelves in some shops.
Wow.
Don't buy them because they're already in your garden. So it's they're more expensive than steak, and they're already in your garden.
And they're not edible, steak is edible.
And in New Zealand, so we've got more than 170 different species of worms in New Zealand that are just out there. And a lot of those are composting worms, so it's not just the tiger worms, you can also have red wrigglers and night crawlers. There's lots and lots of different ones that specialize in breaking down your compost.
Wow. You know, I have a name for you now.
Oh yeah?
You're a composting queen of Taranaki from now on.
Actually, at Sustainable Taranaki, they call me the compost queen as well.
Okay, well, that's what I'm not the original, and it's obvious. But now I'd like to talk about your background.
Okay.
Because Mieke Verschoor
Yeah.
sounds very foreign,
Yes.
right? And interestingly enough, three of us here in the studio came from three different parts.
Yes.
Yeah, of the
Yes.
world.
Oh, if it wasn't my name, then probably my accent would have given it away. So, yes. So I was born in Holland or the Netherlands. I can actually say Holland because I'm from the part that is called Holland. I moved to New Zealand almost 24 years ago now, and lived in Auckland first, then moved to a tiny little town, Kaikoura in South Island, and I've been in Taranaki 14 years this year.
Awesome. And you brought something to the studio from Holland, and it actually looks very authentic. And I would like to have a little test with my amazing co-host.
I can't wait.
So it is something that makes this product, which is biscuits. This particular biscuits.
It's a very, very Dutch type of biscuit, so apologies I didn't bake it myself, I should have, but I did bring the bag with the spices that I actually have. My dad brings them over for
I
me.
think, do I smell cinnamon already?
Yes, because cinnamon is like 60-70% of that is
Yeah.
cinnamon, but then there's a lot of other spice in there.
Wow. Okay, Hanifa.
It's the
You
time.
want to know a little bit about the history of the speculaas?
Yes.
Speculas, right.
Speculaas.
Let's listen.
So all the way back to the 17th century, originally spices were really, really expensive, so people didn't really get to taste them. And then the Dutch went all over the world and started conquering all kinds of countries. Terrible, but the good thing about that was that all of a sudden there was this excess of all these beautiful new different spices coming into Holland, and they were readily available for anyone. So the bakers, they just started experimenting with all this new, magic. And this particular biscuit was made with like wheat flour, brown sugar, butter, and then about 8 or 9 different spices. So really, really decadent, really. So it's very much a winter sort of a treat, but you can get it year round. And it's also quite connected to Sinterklaas, St. Nicholas celebrations in Holland. So yeah, I also brought little planks, so that's how you make them.
So they're indents.
So wood carving, so they would carve in the wood very traditional kind of pictures like windmills, seagulls, ships, and that's where the dough is pressed into, and then you kind of tap it out, and then what you get is a mirror image, and potentially the name speculaas comes from speculato, which is Latin for mirror, so because it's a mirror image. Other suggestions are that speculatie is a Dutch word for like really decadent, special, expensive dishes. So yes, probably a mix of those two.
Probably every baker had their own mix of spices.
And still, there's, if you tweak, people tweak and make their own special kind of niche kind of.
I'm sure there is a golden standard somewhere in between, but everyone probably knows the most popular brand that is also sold in New Zealand. I did try it because one of my friends, Zay, she has Dutch ancestry, and yes, so she brought some of them, and she brought some other things that were really hard to consume. But let's go back to Hanifa.
The spices are not just used for this biscuit. There's also kruidnootjes, which are tiny little crispy biscuits that we make around Christmas time. but it's also used in like pea soup or in stews.
Really?
So, yeah,
Oh my
it's a
gosh.
really diverse mix of spices.
Mm.
Did you pick up some of the?
No, not
Yeah,
at all.
so-
I mean, like, you know,
Are you
and
too
like
Indian or
cinnamon.
not?
Yes, I was thinking, oh, you know what? Maybe it's got cardamom.
Yes,
It
does.
Yeah.
it's like cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, mace,
Nutmeg.
white pepper, coriander seeds, ginger, cardamom.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I got it
Loads
too.
and loads in there.
Yeah.
So, and this
Well
is
done.
why every bakery has their own kind of mix and ratios, but yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Well, this is really exciting because I mean, well, we're in the same studio in New Zealand, and your ancestors probably fought with Hanifa ancestors
Yes.
for the spices.
But
Sorry,
we are, I know.
And then
But hey, I'm glad at least, you know, we are in somewhere, you know, helpful. Like, see,
It's
you got
really
like authentic biscuits and all.
it created an amazing product. That
Yes,
Hanifa
spices
now
from India.
You can try as well. Like we're going
Thank you.
If you with Sinterklaas, you would, if you had been good as a child throughout the year, then you would expect to find these kind of biscuits and chocolate letters in your shoe. You put your shoes at the fireplace overnight because obviously it's in wintertime. And if you were bad, you would just get a bag of coal. And if you were really bad, they said that St. Nicholas would take you back to Spain and you had to work as slaves.
Now
So it's like it's
And
quite
nowadays, going to Spain is a holiday, and
yes,
Exactly.
and back it was like, oh, we're selling it to Spain.
yes.
Yeah. You know what I miss with these biscuits right now? The chai.
The chai, okay.
Yes,
combination.
they're so good to dip in your coffee, in your chai, in your hot
Yep.
chocolate. And if you were lucky as a child, you would get like white sandwich with lots of butter and then a couple of those on it, and then just
Oh.
like eat it on your sandwich.
That's a good combination, right?
Full of carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
and then
soft
then
and
they
the
would
crunch.
kick you out into the Dutch winters in the snow, which at least you had all that carbs. Yeah.
Did you allow your children to eat those, and was it like any tradition for your children?
Yeah, my kids love them as well.
Okay.
Especially the kruidnootjes, the little ones, because
Yum.
they're really Moorish. You just have a couple and you can't stop once you open the bag. You just cannot stop. You just
Yep.
one more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
He's gone for the second one.
So we have
That's good.
our amazing videographer Mikari to give his review on the biscuits he just tried.
This is Mikari back on air. I'm going to be talking about the really flavorful biscuits I had. Like what she said, once they're open, like all of them, they're just going to be gone. So yeah, that's how good they are. I rate them 10 out of 10.
Oh,
Oh
excellent.
wow! Doesn't happen very often.
Oh, go Dutch, go Dutch.
Go Dutch, go Dutch. Are you following FIFA?
I'm not, but still, go to Dutch.
That's
You
fine.
always have to back up. I always have to
Yes.
back up Holland, unless they play New Zealand. Then I back up New Zealand.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
It's a very personal journey, isn't it? I think it's a
Mm.
perfect time to listen to the second song you have chosen for us, "Ho Hey" by the Lumineers.
Oh, that's our supermarket song with me and my kids. Because there was a time that this song would play a lot in the supermarkets, and we would just sing along and skip through supermarkets.
Oh.
And yeah, very happy memories with this song.
Because you know when you listen to this track, you're like tapping too.
I have to skip.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it's Lumineers is quite a popular band, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But this song, it's I belong to you, you belong to me, you're my sweetheart. That's what I would sing to the kids. And I won't sing it on air because I cannot sing. I'm not shy, but I can't hold a tone if my life depended on it. But this was we called it the supermarket song because it was always either in the
Play.
supermarket or on the radio in the car right there. So yeah. And it's quite a happy song.
Oh, yeah, well,
Of course. I think we'll have to finish it now. Now that 3 is not a good number, so let's go for 4th.
We can't let him go old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's commonly known that it happens. That's why when you buy them here in
Yeah.
the supermarket, they come in separate. And I hate the separate plastic, but they come just in like 10 at a time instead of
The whole big
the whole
bag.
big pack. Because yeah, you just keep going. Yeah.
it was on heat.
Oh yeah.
No wonder, that's why I think we were like,
Feeling like everyone is feeling, and you're sitting right opposite of it.
I do like the heat, but my body responds real quick because I run real hot myself always. So.
Yes, definitely. Okay, well, thank you for bringing those.
oh, let me just
You're
turn
welcome.
that.
Sorry I didn't bake or cook. Just
So this is the last part of it, after
Yeah.
which we are doing a kind of a wrap up. We are just discussing whatever you're going to do, your plans and other things until the end of the song, and then we will wrap up. So you're
Oh,
doing
nice.
the return back,
Okay.
restaurant, mud media time. Okay. So you are a very interesting person. You just have lots of depth, and I think it's that our world sometimes is lacking. We're all very kind of topical.
Oh, thank you. It's a nice thing to say.
Yeah, but I mean, very often is the whole culture is based on very quick interactions without depth. So yeah.
Welcome back to the Taranaki Foodies on the Most FM, proudly sponsored by Salt on the Waterfront by Millennium Hotels. So time right now is the Mad Media time.
Yes, well done. Awesome, and we have an amazing guest in the studio, Mieke Verschoor, and she is Sustainable Taranaki, one of the team of Sustainable Taranaki. She's also an educator who loves to empower people, and she's one of the managers and founders of Green Loop. And I would like to discuss the topic of ACO, which is teaching by learning and learning by teaching.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really strong belief that I have, that if you go somewhere and you learn something, it should never be a one-way. It's always an exchange. So I love teaching. I love workshops especially, and I always learn as much as other people do. You know, everyone comes in with feedback. Everyone comes in with experiences. Everyone comes in with different skills that I don't have, and you just learn from one another. Just the connection should always be open, a two-way way. And yeah, so that's the whole idea, that whenever I do a workshop, I'm looking for those light bulb moments in people that I think, oh, they're getting it. And when people start saying things like, oh, it's not as hard as I thought, or oh, I can actually do this, that is what I do it for. But I have the same. People, from their reactions or little things that they share, how they do things at home, or you know, how they were raised and what their parents used to do, I picked that up as well, and I use that as education for myself to take into life. And
Yes, tell us about the workshops you hold, or
Yeah.
maybe some excursions or whatever you do for public, so more people can get engaged with what you do.
yeah, so when I just started working at Sustainable Taranaki, I did a project called Let's Compost. So I did lots of composting workshops, but I also did sustainable workshops like how to build with pellet wood, for instance, or how to start organic growing at home, or how to assess your land before you put a garden in place, or anything to do with sustainability, with growing, with sowing, with organic. I used to do workshops in. So we don't have any funding for those anymore at the moment, but people, if they want to come and learn, they can still apply. They can still come in, talk to us at the Enviro Hub in Brooklyn, next to beautiful Brooklyn Zoo, and we can organize something. We can always just sit down and see, okay, what do you want? Is there a business that is interested in this, or do you have a group of people or friends, and we can sort something out.
Yeah, and I believe that a lot of people would like to do right things. It's just a question whether they have enough knowledge, equipment, and space. And I'm sure that you can help them to find all of those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do people find you if they would like to do something like that?
Well, they can go to sustainabletaranaki.org.nz, our website. On there you can find a lot of information about all our different projects. We have lots of different projects, too many to start to get into now. There's also an event calendar on there, so you can see exactly what is coming up. So if there's a nature cleanup, or if there's a workshop somewhere, or a kind of an event that we do with other organizations, everything is on there. And so that's a good way of finding out. And you can also sign up for our newsletter, and then you get like little write-ups and little bits of feedback, and we'll keep you in the loop, basically.
And there was an article about you recently in the newspaper, and they mentioned how they contact you as well, right? And
Yes.
so you have an email or maybe telephone to mention as well?
Yes, if you forget, my name is quite tricky. So yes, you can contact me on Mieke Verschoor at sustainabletaranaki.org.nz. But you probably already forgot it by now. So if you go to our website, then there's a list of all the people working there, and you can find us there. And if push comes to shove, you can just go to info@, and whoever reads that will find the right person to answer the question that you have.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And knowing that you are a composting queen, they'll transfer it to you and send it to you. So my challenge to all the foodies, let's get together behind the sustainability project. Let's do some composting together. Let's maybe think of how we can save some food, or maybe spend less of the resources and ingredients and things like that. And let's maybe at least till the end of the year do some project with Sustainable Taranaki in general, or maybe with Mieke Verschoor in particular.
100%.
Yes, or if you don't have a garden and you don't want to compost because you don't have anywhere to put it, come to one of our community gardens. Meet with like-minded people, learn something about growing, sowing, bring home some beautiful food that's grown in the community gardens. And with composting, so many different ways to compost. If you don't have a big space for a big compost heap, that's fine. There's other ways to compost. Start with the bokashi like we discussed. Just a small container that can just sit out on the deck, can even sit under your bench in the kitchen. There's so many different ways to start composting, and every little bit that you divert from landfill is going to help the environment in the end. Yeah.
And I believe that it will make our beautiful Taranaki even more beautiful, or
Absolutely.
keep the pristine nature that we are all proud of. Thank you so much, Mieke, for coming.
Thank you,
You're so
Mieke.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, guys.
And the last song for today is The Great Divide by Noah Kahan.
Is there any voluntary work that I want to take my team from Millennium? Maybe is there any voluntary work they can